I be on these YouTube streets, man. I be listening to YouTube a lot and shit. Charleston White, he on YouTube. He said YouTube for poor people. You know, I got 2 jobs, but I feel poor. I feel, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I got money and I still feel broke. You know what I'm saying? And shouts out to Noriega. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shouts out to Kanye West for naming one of his babies after Nori. That's a tight ass story, man. You know what I'm saying? But these celebrities, man, these celebrities, I ain't gonna say nothing, man. They weirdos, man. You spend your life hiding from the public and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you spend your life trying to get put on. As soon as you on, you just in hiding and shit. Well, you know, or maybe for broke motherfuckers who can't go nowhere but to work. I guess we don't see that shit. But you know, I be on these YouTube streets, and it's a couple of conspiracy theorists people I'll be listening to and stuff, and you know, they be on that like aliens are angels. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm a professional conspiracy theorist. I'm a responsible conspiracy theorist, you know, and most of all, common sense. You know, like some people say, man, think about it. Nobody could go on the moon. I said, well, think about it. Why would they spend billions of dollars? Why would they launch a rocket just to fake you out, just to fake people out? Why would they even want to fake people out? Oh, it was a race for Russia and stuff like that. So they made every attempt they could to go to the moon. You know, okay, maybe they had a fake moon landing videotape, because to me, according to a lot of conspiracies, there's stuff on the moon that they didn't want the general public to see. So to me, it makes sense. Yeah, they re-recorded what they really seen. You know, there's another thing about the radiation messed up the videotape and stuff like that. You can barely see it. It's blurred or something like that. Some people say, why is no stars? Because they on the sun part of the moon. That's why they can't see the stars. The sun is the brightest thing shining, so the other stars can't. You know, you can't see the other stars. You know, just like our daytime. You know, we only see one star, the sun. So they wasn't on the dark side of the moon. You know what I'm saying? They'd have seen plenty of stars. But if they was on the dark side of the moon, wouldn't the stars illuminate their vision? But I guess they wanted more vision with the sun, so they was on the sun side of the moon, the lit side of the moon, so they couldn't see the stars. Now that's what it was. Now all that, okay, I get. But the whole thing of angels versus aliens, like they, at least with the aliens, there's some like validity, some physical, objective validity to advanced technological sentient beings. There's some, because we're sentient beings, we're carbon-based sentient beings. So we know in this universe, sentient beings exist. We know for a fact. Our iPhones and stuff, they're basically advanced technology. You know, 40 years ago, I needed a big old camcorder. I needed a camera. I needed a big desktop computer. I needed a laptop. You know, I needed all these things, and now it fits into, all this stuff fits into one little device. So that right there is kind of like, you know what I mean? That right there is kind of like, so we know there's advanced technologies. We know that sentient and conscious, intelligent beings exist, right? So now we're talking about advanced technology and stuff in outer space. Now, when you say, now, the one conspiracy theorist, he said, God is not going to let us go to outer space. I'm like, well, there's no proof of, there's no physical proof of God. The only physical proof of God is you. You know what I'm saying? Is us, is our conscious thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And atheists don't think that's a physical proof. You know, the God within you or something like that, the physical proof. I mean, if you want to talk about the Bible, it talks about the watchmen the angels, the fallen angels, the Nephilims. It talks about, in the book of Enoch that they took out that book. So pastors couldn't talk about it. So nobody has any knowledge really of it, about, the sons of the gods, which were the fallen angels and the watchmen. They, saw the big booty black girls, you know what I'm saying? They saw that BBL before BBL, that all natural BBL. It was like, God damn, that bubble. Oh, sweet Jesus. Sweet Lord. Sweet Lord, I gotta get some of that. I'm a godly man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get some of that. You know what I'm saying? And that implies that the angels had penises now and was humanoids. They didn't look all strange and weird to these women. They looked angelic. So talking about, people referring to these beings as beautiful. And they created all type of Nephilims, all type of giants. Now this, they did not take out of the chopped up version of the Bible we have today, right? So now we have the sons of the gods in physical form coming down from earth, but not from earth. Anything that's from earth, anything that's physical and conscious and can communicate to us somehow and look humanoid, but not from earth, is an extraterrestrial. That is what an alien is. Something that's not from earth. It could be a meteor. It was the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. That was extraterrestrial. Terrestrial is the planet. Extraterrestrial is something extra than our planet. So, so even in the Bible, it talks about aliens. God created the universe and created Earth, so he's not from Earth. The serpent that walks and talks, ain't no serpent walking and talking. Reptilians, they said that. Now there's two theories about the reptilians, that they are aliens from another planet, but they've been here before us. So they live in the underground, the Shambhala, the world beneath this world. I don't think it's just far fetched. A lot of that stuff is far fetched, but you hear legends of it. That's the only That's the only type of evidence that we have, because when these legends and myths were created, they wasn't like, hey, let's make up a story. They was writing down stuff that they wanted us to know because they felt it was real. That's why, same thing with the Bible. It came from the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian coming forth by day, coming forth by night, aka the Book of the Dead. And then the earliest forms of the Bible was the 22,000 tablets found in Sumer that was in cuneiform. Now I know a lot of people like to debunk Zechariah Sitchin. Oh, he was debunked. But some of these debunks is like just rudimentary or semantics. Like he didn't know cuneiform. Yeah, because he had a group of scientists that already translated, and he was putting the pieces together. Like did y'all even read the book, The 12th Planet? He mentioned all these different scientists that translated these cuneiforms and stuff, and to say that he just made up, that's a little far-fetched. He just made up, oh, this is in the Bible already. This is in the Bible already. But in the cuneiform, it talks about aliens, biogenetically engineering Homo erectus, Cro-Magnon man, and Neanderthal into Homo sapiens. That I can wrap my head around. Thank you. Something that's scientifical. Instead of he created the dust, he created the man, he created I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Now I know people are like, hey, you're speaking blasphemy. Like, why are you speaking like this? You're speaking blasphemy. And people are thinking, you gotta have faith. You gotta believe. But the Bible you have was rewritten in 325 AD by the Council of Nicaea. Probably back then it was in Latin. Then it got rewritten in the King James Version in English. But when it got rewritten in Latin by the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, they took out a lot of these books because your Bible is a library. The 22,000 tablets that was found in ancient Sumer that dates back to 3800 BC. It probably dates back way more than that. I give it 20,000 years, but they're saying 6. They love to play with that number. They don't like going back past 6,000 years. They don't want it for some reason. But but other people are speculating, like, the non-scientific community, the conspiracy community, they are thinking like about 20,000 years, and it was a library. So your Bible is a library. That's why they call it the Book of Genesis, the Book of Exodus, because these are library. I mean, it was a library condensed into one book. So y'all ain't getting the full story, right? Like Lilith, like the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, the fallen angels having sex with the daughters of man and creating all type of giants, So y'all not getting the full story, right? But this whole thing about, so first of all, y'all not getting the whole story. So is God an omnipotent, all-seeing being that sees everything? Because God said in the Bible, I am what I am. And in Isaiah 45:11, God says, I do evil and good. I cause peace and I cause war. I, the Lord, do all these things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whoa. You cause evil and good? You cause peace and war? I'm like, man, So that kind of sounds like us. Man, that sounds like a sentient being. That don't sound like some spirit form. But then the FBI, they have a category of aliens, and now it's more mainstream about the different dimensions and stuff like that. So before they went public with different dimensions, like in the 90s, I've heard of interdimensional extraterrestrials, and I couldn't wrap my head around it because that was like science fiction. Now scientists are saying, and you can Google it, scientists are saying that there are other dimensions. Science has been saying that up to 11, they say. But and they said there's, in the FBI, in their classified files, they were saying that there's interdimensional extraterrestrials. That's kind of like a demon. A demon, you can't see him, but he can possess you and stuff like that. You can open a rift into another dimension with a Ouija board, different things like that, right? Or a haunted house or anything like that. That ghost, that's what I would refer to as interdimensional extraterrestrial. Something that's not from Earth, again, that's from another dimension other than Earth. So that I can wrap my head around that. We are aware of biogenetics. You know what I'm saying? It's plausible. Now, here's the thing. If this is so far-fetched to you, why are you using an iPhone? It's advanced technology. Why are you using a car? These are the same types of physics we have to create certain things like biogenetic engineering. They're cloning chickens and cows. They could clone chickens and cows, but can't go to space. Or there's nothing else out there in space. There's over hundreds of trillions of planets and stars out there. How did they count them? They grouped them up. Like, boom, we're going to say this circumference of this angle right here is this many, and then boom, let's times it. Okay, let's times it by this many to the 10th power. It's a mathematical equation. So yeah, they actually, counted not all the stars, but grouped them together, made a finite measurement, and multiplied that measurement throughout the all around them. And it came out to hundreds of trillions of stars, hundreds of trillions of planets, so I could wrap my head around that, like astrophysics, this whole thing about flat Earth. Let's use some common sense here. If the moon is round, the sun is round. If the moon is round and the sun is round and the stars are round, then you have to assume Earth is round. You can't say my observation tells me something different. That's like a flea on top of my head talking about this is I'm on a flat surface. Well, yeah, you are on a flat surface if you're a flea on my head, but I'm not flat. You're a flea on the planet. Stop it. You're microbiotic. It's like a germ telling another germ this is all flatland. This is not. How can you tell if it's anything else on the ground? You got to get up there in outer space and take a picture of it. If you're saying that NASA is Photoshop, I don't believe NASA either. Oh my God. They've been lying about the UFOs for like 50 years. Oh, the weather balloon. We don't know. Weather balloon. Oh, we don't have pictures. Oh, what's that? NASA had plenty of these. You know what I'm saying? In the 1,000, I bet NASA's in that 1,000-page report that the Pentagon released about the UFOs and stuff like that. I bet NASA's all in it and stuff. And they've been lying about that all this time. I get it. You can't trust NASA, but until you go out there and shoot an image, then your point is moot. You can't just say the satellites are fake. Everything that's fake. That you can't say that. You got to prove it. You got to prove that it's fake because people are making money for the last 60 years. People are getting paychecks on making stuff like that. People are going to school on making satellites and stuff like that. SpaceX has nothing but people going to work every day on making stuff like that. So you can't just say that that's a lie. It's too much evidence. Their paychecks, our GPS system, stuff like that. But if you think aliens are really angels, then try to pray for your car to come on. It's preposterous, right? You'll get the key, you use this is all engineering. You use your key, turn the knob and, turn your key and start your car. This is all, excuse me. This is all physics. This is, like there's nothing you could pray for to make something physical device. You could pray for money and then find some money on the ground, but there was a printer, there was, ink, there was a concept, there was 200-year-old planet. There's 200 years of utilization of that money. There's, not of that particular dollar, but the whole economy itself, the whole currency of itself. So, there's a whole story behind it. Like black people say, we the indigenous, and I don't believe that there was any slave ships. That don't make sense. I'm like, it's in the Smithsonian. The recordings, the slave ships, you gotta really dig in. Like, hey, there was really 4 slaves. This guy referenced this. There was General Patton, and he had a diary of notes, and he stopped Hitler and stuff like that. And nowhere in there did he talk about 6 million. Now and then, right now they call that a denier. you're a denier. And I'm like, well, you made it impossible to even debate it. So that's an admittance of guilt. Not to say you're guilty, but it is an admittance. You know what I'm saying? You have to open up the dialogue and conversation for us to know the truth. If you want us to know the truth. If you don't want us to know the truth, then go ahead, by all means, blackball us. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we say something against that narrative, you're going to blackball. That's how you want all society to be. Against, just blackball, just censored. That's how you want us to be, censored. That's what it's pushing right now. Censorship and taking away of guns and all this. I'm like, well, what about the criminals? Because the criminals don't need tougher gun laws to get guns. Criminals, they can do whatever they want to. They do whatever they want to. They get whatever they want to. How are they getting it? How is a train going through the middle of Southside Chicago full of guns stop all of a sudden and their doors are unlocked? And it stopped in the middle of the night all of a sudden. That don't make no sense. And that happened twice. They want you to believe they're naive. They want you to believe they're stupid. They want you to believe they're slow. No, Uncle Sam, he played dumb. Catch a sucker, play a sucker to catch a sucker. You're the sucker. That's what they do. So we are surrounded by science, mathematics, and physics, from our stoplight to our construction, to our masonry, to gas, to our cars, our cell phones, our laptops. We are surrounded by technology. All the alien is astrophysics. That's all it is. In the astrophysics, the carbon-based life forms, the laws of probability, the statistics all show that life has to exist. Even our ancient books, like the Bible, like the 22,000 tablets, suggest that there's life on other planets, and it influenced our existence. It influenced man's existence. So I don't get the fact that people think that we are supposed to be bound on earth, because that's part of the matrix, dude. They want you to believe that everything that ever happened ever on here is down on earth. Now, in the 90s, I've heard this. I've been saying this since the 90s. Check this out. I've been saying they have an anti-gravitational device, and they have an antimatter and dark matter engine. I don't know where I got that information from, but I kept repeating it for years, because I got to know what the CIA has. They attack us, what I'm saying, with the Tuskegee syphilis experiments, that was a CIA plan, to crack cocaine, again, CIA. So I be trying to learn what they have. I knew in the 80s they had these small cameras. That was conspiracy theory at one time. The little tiny cameras, now they're in everybody's phone. The GPS system, I was laughing at them in the 80s because they was building that laser satellite from outer space, and they said they needed a GPS. And I was like, they can't get a GPS on every human unless it's the chip. Unless they try to chip us, they can't put a GPS on every human. Now they have with our cell phones. So the joke's on me. The joke's on me. They laughing to the bank, and the joke's on me. So, yeah, that part. So I'm like, so I've been saying that. Then recently I seen the interview with Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar. Check out, Google who Bob Lazar is. Bob Lazar is apparently where I got that information from, because in 83 he was working in an area called S4. S4 is similar to an Area 51. Now Bill William, what's his name? William Cooper, he was the one that wrote the book Beware of the Pale Horse. Read it if you have time. Black people, you should start reading immediately. Black people, you should start reading immediately. If you don't read at least 4 books a year, at the very least, 4 books a year, please stop talking about the white man. They are reading like crazy. And our enemies, they are readers. So while they're getting smarter and smarter and outthinking us, outlapping us, just do this. In the book, The Art of War, it says it's better to outthink your opponent than to outfight them. I see it now. They outthought us and outfought us. We let them in with the civil rights and kings. Our community has never been the same. They said they was here to help. They fucked us up. They just destroyed the black family. What they gonna say? Oops, we didn't know. No, that was their plan all along. They infiltrated us through the civil rights movement. That's a damn shame. With the help of blacks to immigrate. I'm not saying all whites are bad. I'm not saying they're poison. They're devils. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they had a strategic plan. The civil rights law, the crack cocaine, the black exploitation movies, the gangster rap, the North America Free Trade Agreement to bring the immigrants to replace us. Man, they had it all down packed. They planned 27 moves. They're chess masters. A chess master will plan 27 moves ahead of his first move. We're playing checkers with them. So I'm like, improve yourself. The problem is you. The problem is me. The problem is I'm not doing enough, for me and mine, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So I can't focus on my enemy doing good. I got to get better in order to win. Or not. I could just whine and complain and bitch and cry. I get to work. And the black people that get to work, get it done. The black people that get to work wins. The black people that complain lose is bad. They just lose bad. I'm like, oh, you didn't believe this devil was like this. There I go with the devil. You didn't believe Uncle Sam was like this. Uncle Sam is a vicious dude. Uncle Sam will bomb Syria. He'll bomb Libya. He'll bomb Iraq. He'll bomb Afghanistan and eventually desert it while thousands of Afghanis getting killed. And then he'll turn around and say, Putin is the monster. That's some cold shit. Now, I know you're saying, oh, that's propaganda. Well, and they're not bombing us. They're bombing Ukraine. So what they got to do with us? That part of me, that used to be part, is our democracy. Our democracy. They stole the democracy with Al Gore versus Bush. That any election that you can't get the results by 10 o'clock that night, is basically a theft. That's happened with the Biden versus Trump. With Obama, we found out that night. With George Bush, his second election, we didn't even find out till that next day on 2 o'clock. So Hillary Clinton got more popular votes. So, I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? It's a trick bag. They think they're stupid, that they just misplace guns, that they just, they do whatever. So that's on the real. Check out Bob Lazar. He was saying in S4 that he was working on an advanced alien craft. They didn't really go into detail about the alien. Excuse me. They ain't go up 13 hours a day works. 13 and a half. They didn't say how well, Bob Lazar, he was working on crash UFOs. I guess they didn't give him all the information. Everything was needed to know. and they was working on an anti-gravitational device and an antimatter engine. He was working on an anti-gravitational device, and they would fly it. They knew how to fly it. This is in the 80s, and they knew how to fly it. They was testing test flights of it and stuff. So they were trying to figure out. That was in the 80s. They probably figured it all out right now. But that's where I got that information from. He'd been ridiculed for 30 years. His story didn't change. His story keeps getting verified by more and more people. If they still work there, they'll get the boot just talking to him. So, you know, they don't have too much to go by. And so they try to erase him and his name and everything out of all the schools he went to, you know. So it's you know, so we have we do have real threats on the ground. You know, we do have real threats, but that doesn't mean that the laws of physics automatically change because you believe in God. Now, another thing is because they prove Luciferians, aka the synagogue of Satan, aka the Illuminati, doing satanic rituals, using magic and stuff like that. Just because they're doing that and they're Luciferians doesn't make your religion right. Y'all both could be wrong. Y'all both could be wrong at the same time. It could be, give us some living proof. Give us proof of an angel's feather or a book that was written by God instead of man's hands. Give me something, But to denounce science, you're sounding like NASA. You're sounding just like NASA. Oh, that's preposterous. 700 years ago, I'll be burned to a stake for saying it's common sense that aliens exist. Go hiking, try to count how many stars there are. It's too many to count. You know what I mean? So why would we be the only ones in the universe where everything is out there, or it has so much stuff out there. There's when our ancestors write stuff down, they write stuff down that's true. They're not saying my favorite fiction. They're writing stuff down that's true, and they were saying that the deities in flying chariots descended from the heavens. The gods descended from the heavens. You know what I'm saying? So everywhere you go, you have this implication of biology, physics, and science. All throughout everywhere. In your Bibles, on your phones, your car, stuff like that. The biology is us on the phones and cars. But still, so I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about, I would love to debate y'all, just using common sense. There's no evidence of aliens. None. Oh, I thought I seen a nigga I didn't like. Should I rush him? No, I don't think it's him. I'm a peaceful man. So if you swing, it's over. It's over with. But no, on the real, I just see the Powerball at $312 million. Insanity. Did I miss it? Anyway, I gotta give me another ticket. So, like I was saying about the aliens versus angels, I think God was their way of their word of aliens, something above man, something that's not from Earth and everything. But there's not one piece of feather, not one piece of evidence of angels. We know the grays, we know what they look like. It's advertised. There's been abductions. There's nothing like that on the side of religion. There's nothing like that. And the fact that the Luciferians are doing magic, we don't know what's out here. We just found out that there's other dimensions. We don't know the full totality of what's out here. It's best to just pray. I'm not an atheist, no. Do I believe in God? Yes, I believe in God as a something that we just don't know. We'll be extinct before we learn everything about this universe. Is what we don't know, and we don't even know we don't know. And we don't even know we don't know it, so how can we possibly try to know it if we don't know, and we don't know that we already don't know? There's 4 realms of knowledge. What you know is the first is what you know. Like you know your name, you know your address, you know who you like and who you dislike. The second one is what you don't know. You don't know another language, that you don't, that you haven't spoken yet, for some people, they don't know Korean. They don't know Mandarin. That you don't know if, whatever happens. The third is you don't know that you know. Now that's like intuition and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, something told me to go left instead of right, and I went left, and boom. So I didn't know what was down that road, but I knew. And the last is what you don't know, and you don't even know you don't know it. So you got know you don't know, you don't know you know, and you don't know it. That is in a nutshell what humanity is grapple with. And I think we'll become extinct before, or evolve before we get to that point. And I think that in the Bible, when it talks about being abstinent, not giving in to sin, stuff like that, we will come to that conclusion of how to get a bond. How to get a bond. I'm tired, guys. Sorry about that, but it's super weird to me that you don't believe in round Earth. You don't believe in people going to the moon. You don't believe in the Earth being round. You don't believe, it's like, look, I can understand your mistrust from the government, but you should be able to research more, not assume more. You can't assume, because you don't know what you're talking about if you just assume. If you watch other people's YouTube, if you're one-sided with it, one-sided with the information, you gotta draw your own conclusion. So I don't know what to say or anything like that. No, he a neighbor. I've seen him up here before. That's how it is with niggas. You gotta be like, who that nigga? You know what I mean? What's that nigga doing? And stuff. So in a nutshell, sorry guys, sorry I'm late. Sorry so late I'm dozing off, but I just don't get it. Y'all, I would suggest y'all read more. Y'all don't know anything about physics, anything about astrophysics. Y'all don't want to know. Y'all think it's a lie. Y'all think physics is a lie and everything like that, while they're creating iPhones. And you're using that without complaints. YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff without complaints. Do you know even how it's even set up and stuff? You don't even care. You just wanted to do so. So black people, let's have some integrity. And until you either stop using the white man that you don't trust technology, until you stop using it, then you can agree with yourself about all these conspiracy theories. But if you getting a new iPhone, getting a foreign whip, doing laundry with your app, then please stop trying to discredit these people in this country. You are eating off of them. They are on every single dollar bill, and this how ungrateful people want to be. Saying, "Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe NASA either." But they the only game in town with a satellite image. Him and Elon. Everybody else, if you believe in flat Earth, you got to show evidence. You have to investigate. Investigate means read books. Go to your. I don't believe in the library. I do believe in Amazon. I do believe in Kindle. I do believe in, I'd be able to buy the book and read it later, but like I'm saying, we really look like lowbrow Neanderthals through the media, through social media, through pop culture. They control us. They control our very minds. That's why half of y'all thinking that I'm just crazy talking. All right, guys, I dozed off. I'm gone. That's my sign-off code. Yeah, y'all just, a couple of seconds, I was like, this nigga just fell asleep. I just don't get it, dude. I don't get it. I don't. I'm like, science. Why would you got to give me some evidence of it. You got to have belief. No, we got evidence of UFOs. We know what the grays look like. That's only one of them. We know what they look like. We talk about reptilians. Your Bible talks about it, so don't look at it. You supposed to be on our side on that. On that conspiracy theory is in the Bible. Y'all supposed to believe that, right? Y'all don't have to. Y'all don't have to. Y'all don't have to believe it. I'm just saying. So that's 2 aliens. You know what I'm saying? Demons, that's 3. Demon possession, so like that's 3 angels. It's been documented that exorcism happened. If it's if it's psychiatric medicines are not needed, we will never know. The pharma comes from the word spell. So give me some. There's remains of mermaids. I think it's all fake. There's remains of giant skulls and bodies. I think that's all fake. But at least they showed something. If it's fake or not, they showed something. We can categorize that. Oh, that was that fake shit. Boom. Part of the puzzle. Okay. Then we have the pros and cons. Okay, we got about 16 fake shit, and we have 2 real shit. The fake is winning. So let's authenticate this 2 real stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things on this planet we can't, from Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, mermaids, aliens, national forests, flat Earth versus round Earth. There's just too much stuff. Too much stuff for us to investigate, or I'm not gonna say too much, but these are all out of the norm stuff. I should be drinking a beer, going to work, coming home, watching the game, give my kids PlayStation 5 and iPhone 13s and Jordans, and wait till I die. Wait till I retire, and wait till I die. That's what I should be doing. That's the life given to me. That's the life that's given to people. So, on that note, you don't discriminate about your advanced technology. That was actually invented because we found out through crash UFOs that digital was a way better system than analog. And the leap from analog to digital is near impossible. Nobody's like, fuck these nuts and bolts. Let's use laser chips. Let's use lasers and microchips. I'm like, what? What's a microchip? Oh, yeah, it's just a tiny little device that holds bits of information and terabytes of it. Hold up, swole up. We still on the making of the Rolex. All right, bro. Now I'm gone. Peace.